Hello, everyone. Your host, Cy Smith, coming to you on a Saturday, third Saturday of the month, and if you second Saturday of the month. And if you don't know by now, National Block Club University, sponsored by the African American Historical News Journal, www.historicalnewsjournal.com, is focused on making our neighborhoods safer, block by block. This week, we're concentrating on our doctors and dentists. All doctors, all dentists, but just like anything in particular, we're talking about Black doctors and Black dentists and serving the Black medical community. So, this here is designed, the first segment is designed for our dentists. So, we're going to be talking about dental. And then the second part would be dealing with the doctors. And so I have a guest slated, just one guest this day. It's been a challenge coordinating and getting doctors and dentists to speak with me and with us, and to get on this once a year convention slash Jubilee. What I will say is, despite anyone getting on, what's important because of our structure is that you guys hear from me, the founder, and what the vision is. And as with anything, when things catch momentum, people will come on board. But being consistent matters. And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to be consistent with this week being slated for doctors and dentists. So let me begin by giving you guys an update from last week. We had our nurses convention slash Jubilee, and you can go on YouTube and you can see what we were able to accomplish last weekend. We had four, three superstar nurses on, four, one was on telephone, but they offered up to me an overview that will help the average person who may not know about the field of nursing. And that's what we want to do. The big picture goal is to have Gary, Indiana, as the national headquarters when it comes to conventions, or i.e. boot camp. And the reason why we chose Gary, because it is 80% Black, 83% Black. So this is a chance to put an industry in the city of Gary. Gary sits 30 minutes away from Chicago, the 14th largest economy in the world. So it makes sense to be able to tap into what Detroit don't have in terms of a financially stable city that's in close proximity to it. Canada is closest to our sister Detroit city. So Gary should be much more economically sound because of its proximity to Chicago. We wanted to give the people a reason to come to Gary and to circulate money and spend money. And so having 52 weeks of conventions and jubilees in Gary should do the trick. It should make it easy for people to plan a trip to uh, Gary, Chicago. That's the intention. So it's my role to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to promote it, organize it, promote it, and get businesses to sponsor it as well. So if you want to be a sponsor like the African American Historical News Journals, please, by all means, get in touch with me. So as I said, the nurses did their thing last week. They came up with their themes. At each convention, we want to make certain that we walk away with a theme, and the theme is the message that would carry over everything that's done. And we want these to be annual themes. So this theme will allow us to um, print out T-shirts that boosts the apparel department, so people can rock the T-shirt for the nurses. And the way we have it set up is 7 regions. So we want 7 different themes. We want each region to have their own theme. Then we want every city to have their own theme. We want every zip code to have their own theme. And as we do that, what we're going to find is we're giving and we're empowering people at the local level all the way up to the national level. And with the apparel, it's going to give you more options in terms of which t-shirts, which hats, which jackets to buy. And every time you spend money, you're helping us with making neighborhoods safer. So that's kind of the overview there. The agenda is every convention is similar, and I'm gonna go over that real quick. So Fridays are arrival day. It's when people arrive. Um, what I'm also envisioning, because arrival is primarily going to be out of Chicago, that Chicago will always have a welcoming committee because that's people's first stop when they coming up into the Midwest here. So with Sister Crystal Dyer, we should be able to welcome them to Chicago and Gary. Gary, Indiana will have the host welcoming committee. So Chicago will have the welcoming committee, and then Gary will have the host committee, but they're still welcoming people when they actually touch down in Gary, Indiana. So with those two, that means every single weekend we're constantly looking to make sure that we have staff for the host committee in Gary and the welcoming committee in Chicago. I'm also envisioning, because Friday arrivals will primarily be in the evening, that we don't have activities planned before the dinner, and after dinner it would be the private reception type event. And I'm thinking that would be downtown Chicago, because what that'll do, if you're coming in from the south, from the west, now when you arrive you got a period of time to kind of decompress and take in the sight or two before it's time to get ready for dinner. Go back to the hotel room, get ready, and then come on out and then socialize, meet people, and that'll be more of the VIP sponsors and people of that nature who will probably partake in that Friday event. Then Saturday, we kick off with breakfast early. Then we have the morning workshops. We're going to try to keep the workshops to one per time period. So one um, workshop be centered around, sorry about this. And someone is calling while I'm doing this. She just knocked me off. I got to put up do not disturb. Sorry, you guys. Okay, let's see if you guys still can see me. Mariah, I'm on Zoom. Okay, let's see if you guys can see me. All right. Hopefully, no one else will call and knock me off the Zoom. I apologize, um, you guys, for that. So let me get back to what I was saying about the host committee, welcome committee, and kind of where we're trying to go with that. What I'm hoping we'll be able to do, you guys, is when people come in, downtown will be for the sponsors and people like that primarily. Anyone can go, but the main thing is that if we have big sponsors and they come and they're into downtown, um, never been to Chicago type environment, they're gonna really enjoy that atmosphere. So we don't want to do too many activities and not um, let them enjoy the city. So we'll have a brief coming together, that reception just to receive everyone, welcome them to the city. And then the rest of the time they go and just enjoy Chicago. So that's what we envision will happen on Friday. We might have some of the poets, some of the artists do something to welcome them as well. Then Saturday again, after we deal with breakfast, three workshops: a morning workshop, afternoon workshop, then something in the evening, which won't be a workshop; it'll be more entertainment. But the workshops are centered around helping people gain a deeper understanding than when we're just speaking. Then, of course, we had lunch, and we'll try to get a guest speaker at each one. And at the lunch, of course, you're eating from Black-owned restaurants or catering event, circulating the money that way. And then you will hear from our guest speaker. And the guest speaker will be someone that can offer something that's going to be beneficial to, for the most part, to the audience members. Then we have the that's the lunch speaker. Then after the afternoon workshops, then we'll have the keynote speaker, which will mainly be in the evening time, and then follow that up with dinner and then the concert. The dinner and concert optional because some people may just leave and enjoy the rest of their time, but the dinner and concert for those people who's going to be staying with us. Then later on that night, we'll have the youth event, which would be either spelling bee, mock trials, things of that nature that will get the young people interacting with each other. And then Sunday, we check out, final breakfast together, and everyone depart back to go home. That's the design for every single weekend. So this should do a whole lot to boost vibrancy in Gary, Indiana, and Chicago, and in all the 20 sister cities because everyone is getting ready for this weekend. So that's the design. Just wanted to go over that so you guys would know firsthand what I envision us being able to do when it comes to these conventions. Now, the takeaway for every single person who's at this thing is who's at this convention, Jubilee, is to create the theme for the next year. That is, if we don't do that, then we've kind of wasted our weekend because that is the second most important goal. First goal is meeting each other. Then the second goal is to be able to work together. And coming up with the theme is the first step of being able to work together because the theme is going to tell us what we're going to be doing all year long for next year until we meet again. So that's how important the theme is. So let me go over that real quick. You should have it's 20 cities. We should have 20 citywide themes for doctors and dentists. Inside of that, we need 7. So you have 20 that represents every single city we have, but we want to go by region. So what are the 7 out of the 20 themes that we're going to go with? So that what that'll do is it calls Gary, Chicago, and Atlanta dentists and doctors to meet to decide on one GCA, Gary, Chicago, Atlanta theme. Then you have DSM doctors and dentists meeting. That's Detroit, St. Louis, and Milwaukee, coming up with one regional theme. Then you have MBN, that's Miami, Birmingham, and New Orleans, dentists and doctors. They will come up with a theme. KSC is Kansas City, St. Paul, and Cleveland. They have their theme. LS is Los Angeles and San Diego theme. DM is Dallas and Memphis theme. And then the biggest one is BPDNN. That is Boston, Philly, DC, Norfolk, and New York City. So think about how beautiful this is. Right now, as we speak, you have the National Association of Black Doctors, Dentists, and they come from all over the country. That's wonderful. We need that camaraderie, that professionalism. But what's missing, because despite them coming together sometimes 40, 50 years, you see the murders and the violence still happening. And it's because there's a gap, a disconnect between our professionals and the people on the block. Well, that's what we do. We fill that gap because of the way we're built, structured, and the way we interact with people. So now convincing these black doctors to come on board with the theme and releasing the money that we need is going to allow us to connect the people block by block. Whoever aspire to become a doctor or dentist, they're going to have direct access now. Those dentists are going to refer us to family members who are teachers or to lawyers, and that's going to allow that child to want to be a lawyer to plug in, want to be a teacher to plug in. My point is, we're creating this mass organizing tool just by getting us to do these conventions. That's beautiful to me. Like I'm excited about that. Then we have those are the themes. And again, you got the local theme, regional theme, then national theme. All right. Then I am working to identify black potential, not black, anyone who can potentially be sponsors, financial sponsors. The financial sponsors will allow us to pay for people to be able to come up. Like that's a goal, is that they can travel, and that's what the sponsorship does. So in terms of marketing, whoever sponsors, they're gonna have mass marketing, and there's 3 different ways to sponsor. But the bottom line is 312-405-8844 gets you in the door. Have a conversation with me as we work through what that looks like. All right. There are some dentists that I need to get off and call, but I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys an overview. And as we get the doctors and dentists on board, we'll be dialing in again. So this is the annual Doctors and Dentists Convention, Jubilee. Will be held in Gary, Indiana, every March of each year. Next weekend is the U.S. and Africa Convention in Jubilee. So as you can see, we got all the weeks covered except Christmas. All right, so thank you guys. I'm gonna get off. I did record it. I'm gonna make it available, and as we get our doctors and dentists, I just come back and continue, but it'll be with the doctor or the dentist, so we can talk about what they do and how hard it is to get in that field.